Harold Shipman, England, 1970s to 1998. Estimated victims, 218 confirmed, possibly 250 plus. A respected family physician in northern England, Shipman used his medical authority to administer lethal doses of medication to patients, mostly elderly women, during routine home visits, forging records to conceal the deaths. A public inquiry after his conviction concluded he is likely the most prolific serial killer in recorded history. Pedro Alonso Lopez, the Monster of the Andes, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, 1970s. Estimated victims 110 plus confirmed. Targeting young indigenous girls in impoverished rural communities across 3 countries, Lopez operated for years with little law enforcement resistance in regions with limited investigative resources. He confessed to over 300 killings, though only a fraction were ever formally confirmed. Luis Garavito, Colombia, 1990s. Estimated victims 138 plus confirmed, possibly 300 plus. Posing as a disabled street vendor or aid worker to gain trust, Garavito targeted impoverished and homeless children in rural Colombian communities. His confirmed victim count makes him one of the most prolific serial killers ever caught, though Colombian sentencing laws limited his prison term to a fraction of what the death toll might otherwise carry. Jack the Ripper, London, 1888. Estimated victims at least 5. Operating in the fog-chalked streets of Whitechapel, an unidentified killer murdered at least 5 women, mostly sex workers, over the matter of months, mutilating his victims with what investigators believed was anatomical knowledge. He taunted police and press with letters, some possibly hoaxes. He was never identified, and the case remains the most famous unsolved murder investigation in history. H. Holmes, Chicago, 1893 to 1894. Estimated victims, 9 confirmed, possibly dozens. A licensed pharmacist and con man, Holmes built a hotel near the 1893 World's Fair secretly rigged with windowless rooms, trap doors, and a chute leading to the basement where he disposed of victims, mostly guests, employees, and mistresses he'd frauded. He confessed to 27 murders before his execution, though only 9 were ever confirmed. Belle Gunness, Indiana, early 1900s. Estimated victims 25 to 40. A Norwegian immigrant, Gunness placed newspaper ads seeking suitors and farmhands, luring men to her Indiana farm with promises of marriage or work, then poisoning them and burying their bodies on her property before collecting their money. She vanished after her farmhouse burned down in 1908 and was never conclusively confirmed dead or alive. Fritz Haarmann, Germany, 1918 to 1924. Estimated victims 24 plus. Known as the Butcher of Hanover, Haarmann worked as a police informant, which gave him unusual freedom to approach young men and boys at the city's train station, offering them food or lodging during a desperate post-war economy. At least 24 disappeared. He was executed by guillotine in 1925. Carl Panzram, United States, 1920s. Estimated victims 21. A drifter with a violent hatred of humanity, Panzram killed across multiple U.S. states and internationally, targeting men largely opportunistically. Unlike most killers of his era, he showed no remorse, famously requesting his own execution be carried out quickly so he could, in his words, kill his executioner if given the chance. Albert Fish, New York, 1920s to 1930s. Estimated victims, at least 3 confirmed, claimed many more. An elderly-looking man who appeared harmless, Fish gained the trust of working-class families by offering odd jobs or outings, then targeted their children. Letters he sent to victims' families after the fact were so disturbing they became key evidence at his trial. He was executed in 1936. Ian Brady and Myra Hindley, Manchester, UK, 1963 to 1965. Estimated victims 5. Known as the Moors murderers, this couple lured children and teenagers with offers of rides or help, murdering them and burying several victims on Saddleworth Moor. Audio recordings and photographs used as trial evidence shocked Britain and kept the case in the national conversation for decades. The Zodiac Killer, Northern California, 1968 to 1969. Estimated victims, at least 5 confirmed. An unidentified killer who targeted young couples, the Zodiac's defining trait wasn't his body count, but his taunting, sending coded ciphers and letters to newspapers, some of which remained unsolved for over 50 years. He was never identified, and the case remains formally open. David Berkowitz, son of Sam, New York City, 1976-1977. Estimated victims, 6. Berkowitz shot victims, largely young couples, in parked cars at night across New York's boroughs, sending taunting letters to police and a newspaper columnist. His arrest, traced through a parking ticket near one crime scene, led directly to New York's Son of Sam laws, preventing criminals from profiting off their stories. Ted Bundy, multiple U.S. states, 1974 to 1978. Estimated victims, 30+, confirmed, likely more. Bundy used his charm and feigned injuries or authority to approach young women in public settings before assaulting them. He escaped custody twice before his final capture. His trial was among the first televised nationally, and his case reshaped how police departments across state lines share information on active offenders. John Wayne Gacy, Chicago, 1972 to 1978. Estimated victims, 33. A contractor and community figure who performed as Pogo the Clown at children's events, Gacy lured young men to his home under the guise of work opportunities. Most victims were buried in the crawl space beneath his house. His case remains one of the starkest examples of a killer hiding in sight plain. Dean Corll, the Candyman, Houston, 1970 to 1973. Estimated victims, at least 28. Corll used 2 teenage accomplices to recruit and deliver victims from their own social circles, luring them with parties and drugs. He was ultimately shot dead by one of his own accomplices, whose confession to police uncovered the scale of the killings. At the time, the deadliest serial killer case in American history. Dennis Rader, BTK, Kansas, 1974 to 1991. Estimated victims, 10. Standing for bind, torture, and kill, his own chosen nickname, he stalked and killed victims across nearly 2 decades while living an outwardly ordinary life as a church council president and compliance officer. He periodically sent taunting letters to police and media, going silent for years at a time before resurfacing. A floppy disk he sent police in 2004 finally led to his identification and arrest. Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, Northern England, 1975 to 1980. Estimated victims, 13. Working as a truck driver, Sutcliffe used his vehicle and offers of rides to approach women at night across Northern England, evading one of the largest manhunts in British police history, despite being interviewed by investigators multiple times before his eventual arrest. Andrei Chikatilo, Soviet Union, 1978 to 1990. Estimated victims, 52 confirmed. Chikatilo approached victims, largely children and young women, at train stations and rural transit stops, offering food, shelter, or company during a period of Soviet food shortages. Soviet authorities' reluctance to publicly acknowledge a serial killer operating under socialism allowed him to evade capture for over a decade, despite repeated police contact. Henry Lee Lucas, multiple U.S. states, 1960s to 1980s, confessed victims, hundreds, widely disputed. A drifter with a documented history of violence beginning in his teens, Lucas confessed to several hundred murders across the country after his arrest, though investigators later determined many confessions were fabricated for attention or to close unrelated cold cases, leaving his true victim count uncertain to this day. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, Los Angeles, 1984 to 1985. Estimated victims, 13. Ramirez broke into homes at random, often through unlocked doors or windows, terrorizing Los Angeles over a single intense year before being identified from fingerprint evidence and physically apprehended by residents after his photo appeared in the news. Jeffrey Dahmer, Milwaukee, 1978 to 1991. Estimated victims, 17. Dahmer lured victims, largely young men, to his apartment with offers of money, alcohol, or photographs. His case went unnoticed for years, and later scrutiny revealed police had directly interacted with a surviving victim without intervening, a failure that prompted significant reform in how missing persons cases were handled by local departments. Aileen Wuornos, Florida, 1989 to 1990. Estimated victims, 7. Working along Florida highways, Wuornos killed a series of men she met while engaging in sex work, later claiming self-defense against violent clients. Her case became one of the most widely covered of the era, in part because female serial killers of her profile were and remain statistically rare. Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, Washington State, 1982 to 1998. Estimated victims, 49 confirmed, possibly 70 plus. Targeting sex workers and runaways along Washington's Highway 99 corridor, Ridgway evaded capture for nearly 2 decades, holds the record for most confirmed victims of any convicted serial killer in U.S. history, and was ultimately identified through DNA evidence developed years after his crimes began.